Hey everybody, I'm Trevor.
I'm Vincent.
And we are the Anthony and Todd Show, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest Sir Baby Girl record, Crush on Me.
Sir Baby Girl is a DIY pop artist currently signed to Father Daughter Records. Crush on Me is her debut studio album, and I came aware of her last year with her hit single, Heels, that brought this like huge passion and ballad-like pop styling to like indie pop. Like it had like the passion of like a Jeff Rosenstock, so like an almost unattainable amount of charisma and work and turning your own inner personality up to 11, but making this very like almost like 90s inspired pop music. Just seemed like 90s, not in a sense of like the music that was actually out, but 90s almost in a nostalgic sense to the people who were around then.
Yeah.
Like when I think 90s music, I'm not saying that in means of like the actual music representative, but more about the person who was listening to it when they were 13.
Like the aesthetic of the 90s.
Yeah, like
versus
some girl in her room
90s.
writing in her diary, listening to like Mariah Carey and Britney Spears, like that like 90s, early 2000s sense. So yeah, she's been someone who's been on my radar for a little bit because I've been really excited because all the singles she released in 2018 I was really excited for. You got Heels, as I mentioned before, Flirting with Her, and Haunted House. All three tracks which had three different aesthetics. Heels, more kind of this eclectic pop. Flirting with Her, which was more indie rock based, and then you got Haunted House, which was very theatrical and bold and theater-esque in the sense of not film-esque, but actually musical-esque. Seems like very on the stage and in like the shining bright lights sense, talking about anxiety at this huge party and kind of feel like you're drowning in it. And throughout this entire just going through her personality on like what I would see on the Instagram, I just found her to be a very like endearing person, just very to her own, like a personality I can't get from like anywhere else. That's why I like following her, because every time I see her like her Instagram story, it's just like a weird shit. It's just like true to form. It's like just like people with Instagram stories are like sometimes like really boring. With her, it's always like entertaining because it's just like her memes. It's like she just turns her life into a giant meme, and it's really nice. Also, she's like a very outspoken queer personality, and I found that to be in an age where we have a bunch of queer personalities. I find her aesthetic to be really interesting because it is very like bold on what it is, but it's also very like respectful on what it is, and it knows its limits. I feel like it isn't just like, oh, I'm gay, it's, oh, I'm non-binary. It's like a new aesthetic, or not new aesthetic, but it's a new artist representing areas that haven't really been touched by mainstream media. Yeah. And it's nice. Going into like bisexuality and the fact that she calls herself a fen daddy, I think it's nice to see that we have people representing these things, like that people are making music that are representative of these cultures. And it's nice to see the Sir Baby Girl is making pop music as someone who represents those qualities. And it's good we're getting this finally in a form of media. And the fact that we're getting this form of media in this like most pop, sweet tune aesthetic yet, with all these smash hits. You get these tracks, these fiery performances, track after track after track on this 26-minute project. I'm really enthralled by this thing. I really enjoyed it. Going on listening to this album, there's 4 singles released before, as I mentioned, but I think the biggest thing I can dip this thing on is I don't think there's that much new material here. Compared to the singles.
If you liked the singles, great.
Yeah.
They're all in the same place now.
Yeah.
They're all on one compiled record.
Yeah.
And that's that. They're like, okay, so basically Heels, Flirting with Her, Haunted House, and Everyone is a Bad Friend are all singles.
Yeah.
Along with, there's 10 tracks on here? You've got
9 tracks.
Okay, so you've got 2 reprise tracks
that are only like a minute.
Right, the Flirting with Her reprise and the Haunted House reprise. So it's literally just material we've heard already. That leaves you with Cheerleader, Pink Light, and the Crush on Me outro,
which is only
like a minute. So there's like 2 new tracks on here, and which I think are pretty up to par with everything else that she's making. These are still fun tracks that were literally probably just like, oh, we didn't get to release these as singles yet. They'll be out soon.
Yeah.
That's not to say that this whole record was bad. No. I think it was great. I think that we just heard it over an extended amount of time. Like we heard we heard Crush on Me starting in November, December last year, and ending when it actually came out.
Yeah, because I've been
listen to the rest
bumping these singles for like the past month, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited. And I remember I was listening to all 4 of these singles like Tuesday. And I'm like, yeah. And then I listened to this album like Friday, like morning.
Wait, this is Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm just like, wait, I listened to this already. It feels like not to say that we're not getting enough content from these new tracks. I feel like we're just not getting enough new tracks. And I'm not saying that has a dip on the album, because like what we're getting here is good. Like rating on it as it is good. It's just a weird like caveat to just already like listen to an album before it's out. It's just a weird experience.
Yeah, I feel like this might as well just been like, do you remember when Gorillaz released their singles compilation?
Yeah.
Back in, it covered like 2001 to 2011.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what it is, but like in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
And of course, like not as iconic as Gorillaz, so they like had like 4 albums before that, 3 albums before that, and they just released everything like under one moniker. This is literally like, I released 4 singles as a debut artist. My debut album is those 4 singles plus 2 new tracks.
Yeah.
And they almost,
Yeah.
like I said, it's not even that the new tracks aren't even like up to par.
Yeah.
Because I think that they could have easily, like, you easily could have released Cheerleader in the place of Heels, or you could have released Pink Light in the place of Haunted House. Or like, not to say that they're the same track, but like, these singles could have been interchanged and swapped out. Like, any of the tracks could have been the 2 new tracks.
Yeah.
And any of the tracks could have been the 4 singles.
It's more of like a release issue than like actual issues with music.
Right.
Because
the music, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's really fiery. It's really passionate. The hooks are catchy as all get out.
Yeah, like
it's just all been released in a 26-minute package together that says, this is my debut album. Here are all the songs that you've heard already.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're all in the same place now. But like,
it was just a weird experience. We haven't had this problem before. It's really interesting. This is the first time we've actually had this issue.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if we could. I don't think I could dip Sir Baby Girl for any of these issues that we have with this record. It's more of just like the release cycle is weird. But going over these tracks, Heels, undeniably catchy. Flirting with Her, so much personality being betrayed, especially in the background where she's talking about how this girl makes her feel. This song's about crushes, and I think it can only be topped, not only genuine wise, but also crush wise by Janelle Monáe's "Make Me Feel." That's the only thing that can top this, and that's a high honor to be below the Queen. Cheerleader gives me like that 90s kind of like grunge aesthetic, and in a weird, or not grunge aesthetic, but 90s gives me that feel of like someone who grew up listening up to like Britney Spears and Mariah Carey in their bedroom with pink walls and a pink mirror and was writing in their diary.
It reminds me a lot of like the Girl Next Door kind of feel, where she's like, I will tarnish my whole reputation just to like, be genuine again. Almost like she got like too sucked into being a cheerleader that she forgot, who she really was.
Everyone is a Bad Friend was a song I'm actually glad it was released as a single, because it takes a while to go on you. I think how the track progresses is more important than kind of like the lyricism of the track. Right. I think it comes off kind of stuck. It just comes off kind of stuck up at the beginning. I don't think it's from her lyricism. I think it's just the way it's performed and how it's repetitive it is. It just seems very like...
I'm indie.
Yeah, type of sense. And then Pink Light reminds me a lot of like Sleater Kenny.
Yeah.
Like a more like pop-centric Sleater Kenny, which is nice. So we're getting like this mix of like Sleater Kenny and like Britney Spears is really interesting. This like weird, I guess, spectrum of between, and Sir Baby Girl's in the middle, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then Crush on Me is just a very cutesy outro, which I think, I don't know, it just shows her personality. It's just like, yeah, I got a crush on me. We're going to see how it goes. We're not going to rush it. I just think it's really cute. And that's all I need to know. This is a cute album. I really had a lot of fun with it. Sir Baby Girl just seems like such a genuine individual who is not afraid to be herself in a time where pop artists feel like the only thing that they can do to express themselves is dress up in like clothes that are 4 times the size of them. And
like Soulja Boy.
Yeah. And be just like, I'm indie, I'm dark. That's how they're supposed to act. Where Sir Baby Girl shows that the music that will remain in your head is the music where the personality, people are letting their own personalities exist and not trying to tame themselves of personality or trying to be voidless. They're writing their own music, they're being their own aesthetic, and they're not trying to match an audience or match a mood. They're just being themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what's the most important. And worst problem about this is the release cycle. So if you're coming into this new, you're going to love this record.
I hope she can maintain relevancy.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't go the way of Carly Rae Jepsen, because I think Carly Rae Jepsen is still making some really amazing, compelling music. But like, I wrote about this for a paper a while back in like one of my classes. She didn't maintain any sort of pop relevancy after Call Me Maybe. And there are people still out there that are like, Carly Rae Jepsen's a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, she made a lot better music than that.
Emotion.
Yeah. That's not even to say Call Me Maybe is a bad track, because I still liked it.
Yeah.
I just hope like Sir Baby Girl can keep that relevancy as well.
Yeah. I'm really excited for the eccentric pop music that she's going to be making in the future, and I hope we get a lot more of it. But yeah, we're going to end that there. Until next time, guys, I've been Vincent.
I am Trevor.
And see you, boys.
Bye, everybody.